Welcome back, everybody, to the BD1P Binding of Isaac Eden streak. Today's gonna be, wouldn't you believe it, another Eden run. I know, it's crazy. What are we even doing here anymore? Ooh. Hope my HP is okay. Seed, by the way, is going to be MM2QE2GR. Fresh off the last episode. You know, I've been liking this train of talking about older internet culture. Do I want this? I think I want banana tears. It's not a bad thing to have. We were talking about it at the very end of yesterday, or 2 days ago for you guys that run, about like when I was a kid, posting to YouTube was like, it felt like you were posting a video to like a really small website, right? It was like my neighbor's channel had like 50 subs and we'd post like cringe videos on there. And it got me thinking even more. And I've had this thought for a while. Do you guys know like those you know, like horror YouTubers like Nexpo and Blame It on Jorge who do like ARG videos and Wendigoon and people like that, right? You guys know those YouTubers, and they're very good and they're very fun to watch. But I've noticed a trend. Like there's a lot of, I don't want to call it YouTube horror, but there's this whole thing where like if someone who even posted like 1 or 2 YouTube videos like dies tragically, they get like an entry on some kind of like internet iceberg where it's like, this YouTuber died tragically and they have 2 videos up, and it's like, I wouldn't really call them a YouTuber, they posted 2 videos, but sure, and whatever. It's more the fact that, you know, this person had a thing online that can be easily viewed, and now that person has died, and it's going to get demonetized, so this video is going to be in the gutter for sure. So, sorry, YouTube, ads and all that, I apologize, but is there going to be a cheap item? Sharp key, no thank you. It got me thinking. I don't plan to die anytime soon. I want to live till I'm a nice old man. But if I ever, like, die tragically, I think in the online space, it'll be really weird. Because my entire, like, I wouldn't say my entire life is on this channel, but pretty much everything you'd need to know about me from, like, an acquaintance or a friend, like, standpoint, you could probably find on this channel. I've talked about my childhood, talked about, like, you know, current events, past events, my thoughts and opinions on, like, everything. It's like having a podcast. It's 500 episodes long, right? And I've done, you know, multiplayer stuff with friends. Like, there's so much of a sample size that if I ever died tragically or young, I'm probably going to be, like, bottom of the iceberg entries on this dark internet stuff. Because you could... You know how people... It's the whole thing of, like, when an artist dies, their art becomes more expensive or more popular. If a YouTuber dies, their videos get more views. That's probably, like, we don't have a big enough sample size to truly say anything about that yet, but I guarantee if I die in some public, tragic way, like, this channel is going to be huge. It's going to be, like, a time capsule of this person had their whole life over here, and now they don't. I want to learn about them. I'll be one of those, like, weird cult following people. If I die, don't be weird about it. You know, you might be an early adopter of my channel. You might be like, I've been watching BD1P since he was, you know, alive and breathing. Don't be weird about it, all right? You guys get an easy pass to be like, I knew the guy when he was living. I could get commented replies from him. I just think it'll be really, really strange if that ever happens. Because I don't really... I like that I'm this online and, like, people can, you know about me, or they have something to listen to or to watch or to be interested in. It's a really cool feeling, and it's a nice, like, sense of community. But I do think, to some degree, that if I ever decide to start a family when I get older or have kids, whatever it may be, I'm never going to delete this channel. But it's going to be really hard to ignore that this was ever a part of my life, because it's been a large part of my life for almost 3 years. I've been doing content full-time for almost 3 years now. So, like, if you know, BD1P Junior's like, Dad, what did you do, you know, for college? Like, well, son, I dropped out of college because I'm a fucking idiot. And instead what I did is I made YouTube videos for 3 years straight. And if my son ever finds that channel and, like, hears me talking, what was I talking about? It's like, I don't know. I've talked about weird shit on here. It's been like, this is like a very just like flow of consciousness series. So, like, it'd be strange. I don't want anybody that I'm related to know me that well. Because, like, there's like, definitely a line between family, friend, significant other, and, like, personal. And, like, you only. There's like the 4 divides there where, like, you want your family to know about you and what you do and be proud of you, whatever it may be. But you don't want them to know, like, everything you do. Like, yeah, when I was, yeah, sure, dude. When I was, like, 14, I, drove a snowmobile into a frozen lake and almost killed my cousin. Didn't happen to me. It happened to my dad, though. My dad did that. And it's like, you don't want your kids to know the dumb stuff you did or your parents to know the dumb stuff you do. I wish that was still alive so I could use this on that machine, but so be it. You don't want your kids to know that. That's like more of a thing that you want to have with your friends. Like a fun, dumb story that they're not going to judge you for because at the very, best and worst, all they are is friends. Which is good because friends can be even closer than maybe your partner is to you. If friends and partners they're different kinds of special bonds. Maybe stuff you tell your partner you don't tell your friends and vice versa because it's different people. But, like, you don't tell your friends, like, the last time you had sex. If you tell your friends that, it's a little weird to me. I don't know. Like, when I talk to my friends, it's about, like, video games, we're making jokes, there's the occasional deep conversation, especially, like, me and Aldog are really, really close. We live together for 6 months. You don't live with somebody and not get to know them fairly well. Dude, where is this red room? Okay, it can be right there. Can't be there. Wow, can it really only be in one spot? Oh, okay, our super secret room is down there. I guess it was fine to get an entrance into there. That's why I want to get a key. We can do this, though. Did we get an angel deal chance on the first floor? Yo, that's actually really, really nice. And we do have the, So we have the, there we go, the book for that. And I guess we can go back. We have so much money. Can I play you for a couple of keys? Boneheart's huge. Art is, I kind of want that, thank you. I'm looking for keys. I've given you 20 cents and I've gotten a pretty good heart, but that's it so far. I guess we're not going to buy a shop item this floor. Okay, there's a key. Finally, give me another key for a golden chest that we have. Here's my play. 2 keys. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say we open up the golden chest and go for planetarium, but I'm happy getting bird's eye as well. Me and Alex are pretty close, and me and Z Blakes are pretty close. Me and all my friends are pretty close. But like, there's stuff that I would tell my girlfriend that I wouldn't tell them. If I tell them, I wouldn't tell my girlfriend. Just vice versa. Different things get told to different people. So, if I ever pass, and I eventually in like 60 years naturally, I probably will. This channel's, hopefully, unless the internet dies, is still going to be up and still going to be active. So anyone could come on and learn, like, a lot about me. Like, there's things I say in here that my family doesn't know about me. Like, I'm sure my friends know practically everything I've stated on here. That's really, really good to get early on. I'm sure they at least know my opinions on things, and I've told them, like, every story I've told, the viewers, and same with my girlfriend, but, like, you could come onto here and get to know me as a person pretty well. You wouldn't be friends with me. That's very parasocially weird. But you would at least, like, know me as a person and know about me. In the same kind of way that you would know, like, someone that you have a class with in high school. That's just like, oh, I know what this person does in their free time, and vice versa. You have a lot of HP. Why did we have to fight you first? That bomb did jack shit, dude. We're going to be in this fight for a while. Not the greatest start. If I can get you into the fire, I would like that very much. Okay. Kind of messed that up. That was my fault. That fire, that fire, that... Dude, that was 3 fires. It's going to be 4 fires. 4 fire. Oh, a lot of hits on that one, too. But it's a strange feeling. Because do I want that to be that public about me? When I have kids, or if I have kids, I don't want them to come online and then... I don't know, because that's going to be years down the road. I don't want to have kids until I'm at least, like, in my 30s, at the very, very earliest there. That I know I'm, as much of an adult as I can be to start a family. So do I want my kid looking back at 20-year-old me? So I don't even want to look back at 20-year-old me when I'm 30. I want to look at 30-year-old me in the mirror and have that be it. Because I don't know if, like, I think that would not be good for a child to know their parent that personally. It's good to try and be friends with your kids and, like, you know, to be close with them. But there has to be, again, like, lines. My girlfriend's mom, she really tries her best to be friends with my girlfriend, which they're very close, obviously. They're mom and daughter. But she does occasionally, I think, to my girlfriend, cross that line of being too close. And it's like, I don't really want you to know all this stuff about me. Do I want my kid, in like a reverse way, to watch my channel and know this much about me? And I think the answer is no. I don't want my kid, because, like, there's so much that it's going to change, opinionated-wise, and I you know, there's so much going to change between myself now and then, and, like, opinions, and I do a lot of current event stuff on this channel. I talk about what's happening in, you know, whether it be nerd culture, politics, which I rarely talk about, but I think is still, you know, I do occasionally. Like, do I want my kid to, I guess it's kind of like a good insight into what was going on at the time. We haven't really had that before in culture. Like, we haven't really been able to look back and have this detailed of a repertoire of how many people think a certain way about an event. Because, like, we have history books and we have, you know, old recordings of, like, news stations and things of that nature, but those were for, like, political figures and important people. You weren't, you know, getting a news broadcast if you're just, like, little Timmy in you know, like, South Carolina. You are getting a news broadcast saved if you're like the president or like a general. So we've never really had in the history of culture such an easy or efficient way to gather the opinion of the citizens, not like important figures. I guess citizens are still important, but not like these presidential figures, right? We've never had a way to capture that. Now that we do, it's going to be crazy to see how hard it is to fake history, because there's a lot of fake history in history books. I mean, history is written by the winner is like the famous quote there, right? Like, a lot of stuff is taken out of history books where it's not, you know, properly taught in schools. It's kind of hard to hide that now. As long as the internet is still up, you can go and you can practically see anybody's opinion that you want to from a specific date and time. You can look at the exact time of the day they tweeted out or said a certain thing, regardless of what it may be. That's crazy. That's almost like too much. And just to have this much, 500 hours of content, even more because I have main channel stuff and streams, like, there's definitely over maybe like 2,000 hours of content of me just talking about random stuff on the internet. And that's one person. Do I want that to be known by a family member, by, like, my friends, or a couple of my friends watch my videos occasionally. All my friends support my main channel stuff. Like, I get, Aldog will text me oh, my controller is disconnected. It's been happening a lot recently, and I don't know why. There we go. Like, I'll get a text from Alex occasionally, like, wow, do you really use Brilliant's Calculus in a Nutshell course for your sponsor? And I'm like, no, I don't. It's a lie. Well, it's kind of a lie. I used it once to get footage for an ad placement, but, you know, so I know that, like, my friends watch my stuff and they support it, but it's a lot to ask of somebody to watch, you know, a half an hour long podcast every other day of me playing a video game. But some of you guys do that, and you know me more than I want you to know me, but that's kind of my own fault, I guess. And again, it all circles back to, will I tell my kid about YouTube if I have a kid and what I did on YouTube? I think I would try to, if I'm still doing YouTube when I have a kid, or I'm still doing content, or like whatever you want to call it, when I have a kid, it's going to be hard to hide it. But I would try and keep it hidden for as long as possible. But then I know one of his friends will find it, because, like, we used to, when we were kids, like, look up our teachers' names to see what they used to do with, like, their life or whatever. It's that general curiosity you have as a kid. It's like, we used to look up, you know, we actually found one of our teachers was a Confederacy supporter. And she got fired at a neighboring school because she had her Facebook picture was, like, her with a Confederate flag, and she was posting extremely unsavory things. But I would try to hide it as long as I could. I don't really think I would like it if my kid could watch every single thing I've ever posted. I don't want my kid to know me that well until they're an adult. Because the older you get, the more your opinion changes on your parents, and it goes back and forth, whatever it may be. There's a lot of reasons for my kid to probably hate me for, like, things that I may say. Like, oh, that doesn't align with my viewpoint. What the heck are you saying? Like, to dislike me or whatever. It's just the added stress I don't want to ever have, you know, in a relationship like that, if that makes sense. But eventually I'd have to tell them. I wouldn't want to hide it. And, you know, kids get curious. You know, you'll ask your parents, where did you work when you were, like, in college? Or what did you do when you were in high school for a job? When did you get your first car? Kids get curious. It's entirely natural. And I wouldn't lie to them. If they asked, I would tell them I used to do, like, we are going to be, do we want to even take this? I guess we do. It's going to be slow, but it's not that much. I think we're still okay. We need to get more speed eventually, but our HP, we're playing like a Maggie right now, it feels like. I wouldn't lie to them, but I wouldn't exactly tell them the whole truth. I would say, oh yeah, I used to do a YouTube series where I would just talk about current events and leave it at that. If he asked for the channel name, I would say it doesn't exist anymore. But then I'm sure he would like look up, you know, my name, and then I'm sure by some stroke of luck there would be one link leading to my channel, or like an archive or whatever. So who knows? There also is the added option of, like, in the future, maybe YouTube won't exist anymore and all the videos will be wiped from the face of the earth because they, you know, broke some privacy law or whatever it may be. The future is so uncertain at every turn that you really can't say for certain what it's going to be like. What I can say for certain right now, though, is that I desperately need to get more stats. This is not the way to get more stats. I'm going to sit here. I don't want you to have money, actually. Probably a bad thing for you to have money. Walk into the fire, you coward. Like, look at our current DPS. Ouch. Thank you. Okay, I got hit twice there. I gotta maybe focus. I got 2 dimes, though. That is, that's quite good. Sorry, my nose is still itchy from the sneeze I held in last video. But the future is so uncertain that it's not really worth worrying about. But I do think about that often. Like, even when Desi's friends or new friends that I make, you know, in real life ask what I do for a job, I always say, if I don't know them too well, I always say I just do video editing, because saying I'm a YouTuber has some weird connotations to it. Then they ask even more questions. I don't want to answer questions like that. I don't want to answer like, oh, how many subs do you have? How much money do you make? Because that's the common questions you'll get asked, right? So I just say I edit videos, and if they ask what I, you know, oh, do you do it for streamers? I say, yeah, I do it for myself. I, you know, make content. And then it goes from there. Because, like, even though I am only 20, it still feels oddly immature to say that I'm a YouTuber. Because, like, even though I don't feel like I am, because I only have, you know, like, collectively I have only, like, 60k subs. And, you know, it's like 30k, it's a nice split on both channels right now. Even though it's like that, I still feel weird saying I'm a YouTuber, because I feel like that implies you have like 1 million or like 100k subs and you stream all the time and you're a well-known figure. I'm none of those. I do stream a lot. I stream a ton now. This is interesting. I streamed like 4 days last week on twitch.tv/BD1P. We'll give it a follow. We do Isaac. I bought Spelunky 2. We're going to do some Spelunky 2 with Alexa soon, so go give that Twitch a follow. If everybody who watched these videos when they came out, all like 100 of you, went to stream at the same time, I'd hit partner in no time. Just saying, it's all your guys' fault I'm not partner yet. No, it's actually Twitch's fault. They denied me twice. So I stopped applying for partner after that because I was annoyed at their acceptance program, because it sucks. But maybe in the future, like, YouTube and Twitch and streaming won't have that kind of stigma of it's like a lame thing or like a loser thing to do. I don't think it is a loser thing to do. I think it's fine. It still has that connotation around it of like, oh, that's like not gonna last you forever. When you would be surprised at how long you keep up the gig, because I don't want to say how much I make exactly. That's a weird thing to talk about, I feel like, but like even with the views that I get now, like it's livable. It's more than livable if you combine both my channel income. So like you'd be surprised at how long bigger creators who were once like top of the game, who've kind of fallen off, can ride out that money or even still make some with mediocre views. So I think it's a lot more of a sustainable income than I think people realize. And once they do realize that, the stigma will be kind of gone, and it won't be as embarrassing to say that. But yeah, whenever somebody tells me like they're a YouTuber too, I fall victim to being like, oh really? Like, okay, buddy. Like I have that stigma about other people and myself still. So once I lose that stigma, I think I'll know the stigma is kind of gone from the public eye. I'm kind of an old head when it comes to that stuff. I'm a boomer, you could say. I think in the way that I was raised, where it was like, I wouldn't say traditional values, like, you know, politically I think I'm very progressive, but when it comes to stuff like jobs and what you do in your free time, I think I'm much more biased than I realize. Because, like, I sit around and play video games all day, but I think it's a dumb job. I think it's a stupid fake job that I do. And until I get over that, I'm going to know that the general population's consensus is like, I think we'll go Mausoleum. We have a lot of HP. We'll always be negative towards it. So once I change, I think the world will change with me, I guess, in that department. Ooh. Bombs are key? I'm going to go back and get this blue heart. I don't have enough money to worry about going to a shop. I know I should, but we're kind of going slow right now, and I want to speed things up a little bit, so we'll head on down right away. Yeah, I don't know. I know my mom watches these videos occasionally, which embarrasses me because, like, there are things I talk about on here that I don't really want her to know. She followed my Twitter one day, and I was like, oh god, because like she's more Republican right-leaning, and I am far from that. So I'm sure a couple of my like retweets or co-tweets make her roll her eyes, but I mean, I think it's rare to find somebody who does align with their parents' views. Like her dad, my lovely grandpa, he was much more left-leaning. Socially, economically, he was very left-leaning. From what I don't know a lot about his, like, you know, when he was young. He was a very private person, but from what I understand, like, he was homeless for a lot of his life, which led to him, you know, really trusting and appreciating the government aid that the government does give out, which is not really liked by conservatives that much. So I think him and my mom differed in that department, where he was like much more of like voting for Biden, and she was much more not voting for Biden. So they were quite different. And I think my views are definitely quite a bit different to my parents. Well, from what I know in the current state, like, again, I'm only 20. Maybe things will change. I don't think they will. I think I'm pretty set in my beliefs right now, to the point where I don't think they'll ever, like, greatly change. I was raised Christian. I'm no longer, like, I don't really follow any kind of denomination either. Even though I play this, like, heavily religiously inspired game, I don't think I really fall into that camp anymore. I'm more agnostic, I think is the word for, like, you don't really know nor fret about, like, what you really believe in. I don't really. End of the day, it's like, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. Doesn't really, it shouldn't affect your social life that much. It's going to affect your personal life a lot. Maybe some of the beliefs that carry over politically from religion might, but, you know, I think I'm friends with a bunch of Christians and other religious groups and organizations, and you don't really notice it unless you exclusively bring it up. Like, I would have known that. I have a friend who, for the longest time, I just assumed was, like, atheist or agnostic, but it turns out they're actually, like, a very, very, like, faithful Christian, which took me by surprise because, like, they're a huge gamer. They don't strike you as a Christian, I'll say. I don't want to say them out loud because I don't know if they, like, you know, really want to make their faith a public thing, but no, you don't really know that kind of stuff about somebody until you really, really dive deep. Oh, great. And you don't really have many options to dive deep about religion with, like, a friend, because it's not things that I think friends tend to talk about that much. We are still missing our item room. I went to my shop and just chose to not keep looking for my item room. That is a great choice, BD1P. Get that wazoob out of here. And I think, honestly, like, I got confirmed in the Catholic Church. I went to church school every single Wednesday for, like, you know, 12, 13 years. I was baptized. I had my first communion, all that. Like, I am as far as it goes. I am still within the church. I could go to church and I am a full Christian, but I just don't really care to that much. I had a great congregation growing up. Also, our priest was lovely. What's this? It's all right. Our priest was a lovely guy. You know, I was in a youth group too called the Knights of Columbus. It was like or the Squires. They were the Junior Knights of Columbus, and Aldog was there too. You know, a lot of my friends were in it, and it wasn't. It started out as like a church thing. You'd help out and do pancake breakfast and for like every Sunday and things like that. But then it kind of more became like a social group because everybody who was in the group didn't really have the same faith anymore. Like people grow up, and when you're in your college, I think is the time where you kind of drop out of faith if you had one, and maybe you come back when you're like 30. But everybody kind of was not like super into the church. Nobody really went to church anymore, so it became more of like a social thing, which was fun because I met a lot of really cool people through there. One of my friends I met through there is now like a comic book writer, which is really, really cool. Moved to Minneapolis a couple years back. We saw every single comic book movie together. And then he went to Minneapolis. Never saw him again. I talked to him on the regular, though. But he's a comic book writer now. And, you know, it's crazy. I'm kind of at that age, I think, now where everyone that I did know growing up, all my close friends, are now, like, functioning adults. One of my best friends in middle school, his name is Sam. He had a kid recently. I was sitting here, you know, in my pajamas playing The Binding of Isaac and Lego video games for a job. My friends are out here having human beings that they gotta care for. That's insane. Like, that's crazy. I mean, it blows my mind. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a great thing. I'm glad he has like or he's grown up like that. I'm sure he wouldn't do it if he didn't want to have a kid. He wouldn't have had a kid. I'm positive about that. Yo, we can actually just sacrifice now. Like this is such a good run that I feel like with. Oh, that's really good too. With what we have currently, we have Wafer, which makes sacrificing take half the amount of HP. And we have Book of Shadows plus 2 great orbitals. Like, I probably should fight this floor. Oh, no, this is the angel room, you stupid idiot. There's no reason to fight it out if you already have the angel item. Like, what are you talking about? I could go for Polaroid. Oh, I didn't mean to pop that. I forgot I had Stompy. That's fine. I get an extra key piece here for if I want to fight Mega Satan down the road. I guess we can figure that out when we get there. But you're going to die. I don't need to fight you because I already have both key pieces, so out we go. Now we're back at max HP, and you spawn. We leave the room. Let's go find our shop, and then we can sacrifice on down. We went from a very slow run to a normal length run. I bet a lot of you thought I'd die because of the video length. So there you go. Oh, I royally screwed us over, didn't I? That's not good. That's even worse. Oh, God. Shoot. I just have to take the L here. All right. That sucks. Stompy was not supposed to be a part of this room, I don't think. But yeah, it is weird seeing a lot of my childhood friends become full adults, and I feel like I'm not because I'm playing video games, but I think everybody, grows up into an adult at their own pace. Like a lot of my friends too are like this, where we sit around, we play video games, and that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a kid when you're 20 either. It's, again, everybody's whole path is different. And I think once you realize that is when you truly kind of mature into someone who is their own functioning person. I think I'll take this over the other item, or the other card, excuse me, the Joker one, because we get a bunch of items this way. And then we're down for sacrifice. Might as well just fight Mega Satan. It might take us a while, but it's a different path than we usually take, right? Oh, hello, Damocles. Definitely taking this and this. And I think we'll just go fight right away. There's no reason to not fight. We'll save our charge for the bone face. We can just stand at his face and ruin him. But this shouldn't be okay. Don't make any mistakes. We can get the orbital damage, and it shouldn't be too bad. We have Star of Bethlehem in here as well. They finally fixed that really annoying bug about it not going into devil rooms, or the Mega Satan room, excuse me. All we gotta do is play a little bit safe. Wafer should keep us alive through the living phase, and Book of Shadows for the second phase. That was a dumb spawn, though, regardless. But yeah, it is... I've been very nostalgic recently, talking about old YouTube, talking about, you know, like high school friends and all that kind of stuff, and it's been... I think January is like a month of nostalgia consistently, where like whenever January hits each year, I'm always thinking about like, damn, that thing that happened like 6 years ago was kind of crazy, huh? Or like, I'm always thinking back to like, because it's a reflection time. It's like, what did you do in the last year? And that kind of leads you on the path of the year before, year prior. And it kind of puts in perspective how much you've grown, I think, each year. So January is kind of like the reflection month, I think. The January, December. I think winter as a season is mostly like that, because it's when the year is both ending and beginning, and that kind of puts you in that mindset, if that makes sense. But I'm not sure. At the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a 20-year-old who's sitting in his PJs playing video games for, you know, 1,000 strangers online, and that's about it. I mean, that's, in the grand scheme of the universe, is pretty inconsequential, but I'm sure on an individual scale, it's pretty cool. Okay, we got a couple more guys to fight. You chase me. You're larger, and now you're dead. One more hit and you're dead. And there we go. I should take out Pride first, but I am going to be an idiot and do Greed instead. This is why I want to take out Pride first, because that can happen. Yeah, I was going to dodge that, but I just chose not to, I guess. Okay, now we're back to the actual Mega Satan. There we go. Mom's knife is kind of cracked for situations like these. You just stand inside of his... Oh, you do have a new attack. It's kind of stand inside of his face and do big damage. We are playing like trash. That attack is ridiculous. What the heck? We're fine. We're fine. I will take that damage. I don't care. There we go. Now we win. As long as Book of Shadows does its job, we should be fine. That was a good pop. Give me maximum time to stand in his face with both my orbitals. Get some bombs down, too. Why not? I bombed myself. I wasn't even looking at my timer. Okay. We may not be fine. We're not going to talk about this one.